Welcome to further channel analysis, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you very much for your continued support. In case you are here for the first time, my kindest request is you subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Please don't forget to like and share our videos. Are the gods finally abandoning President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua? I'm asking this because when they ascended to power, we were made to believe that their victory was from God Himself, that it was an answered prayer. Even the president of the judiciary, Madam Martha Koome, said that the ruling that she made was partly given as a divine intervention. But things have transpired ever since William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua took oath of office. They have inherited an economy that is ailing, almost grounded to the knees. Just today, the pilots at KQ downed their tools and the airlines were grounded. There is drought in the country and animals are dying. Rivers are also drying up. It has forced President William Ruto to renege some of the things that he did not want, because at some point he opposed preservation of Mout when the then Prime Minister Raila Odinga said that people should be evacuated from Mout forest for the trees to sprout again. Today, our President William Ruto has decided that we should even plant, I think, more than 1 million trees. The hunger situation in the country is unmanageable. And to crown it on, ladies and gentlemen, there is intense pressure from the opposition leader, Raila Odinga, who is telling William Ruto to move with speed and implement all the promises that he gave to Kenyans. Now, what surprises me is that instead of blocking their ears so that they should not focus on answering calls to implement some of these promises, they have decided to focus so much in answering those who are trying to inquire into what they have for Kenyans. Just the other day, the parliamentarians that are allied to Kenya Kwanza, led by the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, called for a press conference, and I thought they were going to tell us something meaningful, only to reiterate their normal rhetorics about how Raila Odinga and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta presided over, having this economy run down. And they continued with name calling and blame game. By the end of that statement, and because I was listening very keenly, there was nothing tangible to offer a solution to the problems and the predicaments that Kenyans are going through. Just today, something that has never happened before. There's this video, ladies and gentlemen, of Kenyans from Kieni constituency in Nyeri lining up and scrambling for food. And mark you, the person who was distributing this food is not even from the government. It will shock you. It is the royal media service that went there to distribute food in Nyeri, where the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua comes from. And ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, let me just remind you that just prior to the just concluded presidential elections, people from Central Province, the Mount Kenya constituents, really hated royal media, and they chided royal media because they thought royal media fraternity was opposing the Gachagua and Ruto bid to become the president and the deputy president of Kenya. I was shocked that it is the same royal media led by Mr. Masharia that was distributing food. You know, this is unheard of because I have been very keen. It is very rare to see food being distributed in Central Province. It is coming barely, I think, less than 2 weeks when I saw another video of residents from Kiambu County also lining up and scrambling for food. And what really shocked me in that video is that they were being given just a mere packet, just one packet of maize flour, paketi moja ya unga, and they were really very happy and singing praises and saying that things are very hard. Whatever happened in Kiambu 2 weeks ago, that was happening today again in Kieni, is something that represents almost the situation in all over Kenya today. Because animals are dying, as I said, rivers are drying up, and people are in dire need of food. Ladies and gentlemen, is there someone who is trying to take advantage of the situation to send a message to the Mount Kenya residents? Because in a span of just a fortnight, food is being distributed in Kiambu, and then in Nyeri County, where the deputy president is coming from. And the person who is doing this is a person they opposed. Is someone trying to remind them that choices have got consequences? And what should William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua learn from this? Because at the heart of their campaign was the economic hard times, because they had reminded the nation then that it was the handshake brothers that was responsible for their predicaments. And they said that within 100 days, they were going to lower the cost of food, the cost of living. To date, they have apologized twice. First, it was the deputy president who said that we should give them 3 months so that they can lower the basic, the prices of basic commodities. And as if that was not enough, the president himself now said that even the 3 months will not be adequate. So he requested for another 1 year. I want to believe from where you are, whether you're supporting Kenya Kwanza or supporting the Azimio, you know the situation where we are in. And the question that we should be asking ourselves is, what next for the Kenyan nation? Because I want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, even if you voted to punish Raila Odinga, or you voted to punish Kamwana, Uhuru Kenyatta himself, those two people, including the president and the deputy president, have got one thing in common. They belong to the rich. We only have two tribes, the have and the have-nots. Maybe you voted to punish someone. Maybe you voted because there are promises that were given. Do you think you still believe that the person you voted in is going to implement all the things that is said? As I said, we should be looking at the way forward now. And one of the things that must not be done, and I say must not, is this blame game. We are tired of being reminded that it was Uhuru Kenyatta who did this and that. All we know today is the commander-in-chief who has got the sword is William Samoei Ruto. They campaigned vehemently. They went, traversed every corner of this country, and they were given that mandate. We do not want to hear any excuse, and we request the administration to come up with tangible solutions. We may not, and Kenyans may not understand why you want to keep on blaming the former administration, yet some of the things like subsidies, because Uhuru Kenyatta had placed subsidies on fuel. Because when the prices of fuel are soaring up, it affects the production of every other commodity. Because all the factories and all the companies will always use fuel, because Kenya has not adopted other alternative sources of energy like wind and even sun. We depend on the natural oil. So the administration came in And it seems they are still obsessed with this idea of showing Kenyans that Uhuru was bad, including everything that he initiated and implemented. And so they did away with the subsidies. Subsidies on unga and subsidies on fuel. And as a result, it is like these are two bulls that are fighting. The administration, the current administration, is still fighting shadows because Uhuru is no longer in power today. And we don't want to know what he did and what he didn't do. He was our president and we knew all the good things that he did and even the wrongs that he did is human. I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, that William Ruto, the president, and his entire administration should declare hunger a natural disaster and set up a committee of hunger and disaster management so that they should come up very quickly. It is very paramount to come up with solutions, tangible solutions, because distributing relief food, ladies and gentlemen, is never sustainable. I remember them saying that they cannot continue to subsidize consumption because it is not sustainable. But it's equally worse if you want to start distributing relief food. And when you watch those videos, the hungry members are coming out with 1 packet of maize flour. If you are a family of 5, a father, a mother, and you have 3 children, how many meals will just a packet of maize flour do? It's 1 or 2, and then the following day. Will the government sustain giving relief food every day? I want to say that this is wrong and it is unsustainable. The new Minister of Agriculture, I think Mitikal Nturi, if I'm not wrong, I don't know whether I pronounced it well, should come out because he was vetted and he was given that mandate because he is equal to the task. He should give us tangible solutions. Mr. President should reinstate subsidies so that people can buy food at a lower price. He did away with Kazi Mtaani. You see, we have always said that Kazi Mtaani did not just come, somebody did not just come up one day, just woke up and decided that people will be given Kazi Mtaani. It was at the height of coronavirus pandemic when the NIS did their own research and realized that Kenyans were hungry, youths did not have money. So what did they do? They came up with something that youths could do, then they are given money. It is better for a youth who has got some little cash in the pocket so that he can decide what to buy than doing away with the ile kazi alikuwa anafanya alafu unampatia unga paketi moja. We have always believed, because I looked at the president and their manifesto and I thought they meant well, but as it is turning out, they are failing terribly. The idea of keeping their ears open just to listen at what Raila said, they have increased taxes, and there is a proposal by the president to even increase the NSS deductions. Currently, it is 200 shillings, but they have proposed that they are going to deduct 6%. Remember, you are also, those who are working are also being deducted 16% as the pay as you go. If you calculate that, and even the NHIF, the mandatory statutory deductions are just too much. And so, what we're saying in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is that the president and the deputy president said that they were rewarded with this office as a result of divine intervention. God is still there. Can't they ask God to give them a solution? Because very soon, the current number of animals that have died so far is standing at about 300, and that is just within the last 1 month. If it continues this way, I'm telling you, it is going to be unmanageable. The last thing I want to call upon the president is, just the other day, he flagged off some relief food. This food was not going to Turkana or Samburu or Northeastern where people are dying, but it was going to Somali, ladies and gentlemen. How do we prioritize feeding another nation when our own people are dying with hunger? In fact, I remember after that, there was a coded language from his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, who requested Kenyans to start donating and distributing food for fellow Kenyans. And I believe he was saying this just to send a message to his boss, who had, instead of putting Kenyans priority first, decided to think of Somalians instead of us. And this really angered Kenyans. There is no need, ladies and gentlemen, you flag off relief food to go to another country. It is not bad to do that, but you can't do that when your own are dying in the country. Is it a case of misplaced priority? I've heard them talk about constructing more dams, and they have subsidized fertilizer. For how long will we wait? Those who voted for the administration, the Hustler Nation, the Hustler Fund is soon coming, but with some interest. The drought situation will continue, and we want to give this administration another 1 year. Can the Hustler Nation ask the president to be more serious, to sit down and get policies? The last thing I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is not the time to take political mileage. When people are dying, both the Azimio supporters and the Kenyattatta supporters are dying. Why can't the government sit down with the opposition and chart a way forward? The opposition will not take any political mileage because the president has been sworn in. Let them sit down and craft a way forward to give Kenyans food, to lower the prices of basic commodities. We are in one Kenya, one nation. Mr. President, kindly cut down the foreign trips so that you can save that money, and let the billionaires in the cabinet donate at least 1 million shillings to help Kenyans. Mine is just a suggestion, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you think. As always, share with me in the comment section. Bye.